sometimes a good game isn't necessarily that good, and a bad game isn't always that bad. It's what we come to call guilty pleasures. Something we sit down and enjoy despite the negativity it gets. Sonic obviously is no stranger to this. So many games are panned by critics and fans alike, but we all know you still sit down and play them. And we know the bad stuff is just as much fun as the good. Here are the 7 best worst Sonic games. Boom was rocky from the start, and the simultaneous release of both Rise of Lyric and Shattered Crystal was met with sheer contempt. So a sequel to the better of the two on 3DS makes perfect sense. Despite being delayed for almost a year, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice is surprisingly good. Everything wrong about Shattered Crystal was fixed. Amy was now playable, and despite the grindy nature of collecting Ragnium for unlockables, including some teasers for the then upcoming season 2 of the show, it was a lot of fun. Too bad the series is now dead thanks to bad marketing. I've already made a review on this, so I'll keep it brief. Sonic the Fighters, aka Sonic Championship, is a very basic and easily playable fighting game. While it's not the most in-depth with its story or its roster of 8 characters, 9 if you include Honey, it's probably one of the most fun fighting games I've played. It's no Smash Bros or Marvel vs. Capcom, but trust me, get a few friends, boot this game up and enjoy a few drunken rounds of Bark beating the shit out of Amy. I also reviewed this game, but let me preference this game with one word: different. Like seeing your mum come back from the hair salon and dyed her hair hot pink and sky blue, saying, "That's different." Sonic Lost World was an attempt to break away from the established boost formula and introduce parkour to add verticality to gameplay. The problem was that it wasn't the main focus of the overall game. More Whisper added, as well as level designs based on the Mario philosophy. After you get used to the controls, there is some enjoyment to be had, but for everything good about it, there's something bad. A majority of these problems can be fixed with a sequel, but I doubt that will ever come to pass. Sonic R is an oddity. An on-foot racer where you race against all the characters at the time, minus the Chaotix. While it does have a multiplayer with a slew of gameplay options, the game is rather lacking in a much-quoted Grand Prix mode with only 5 courses. Give it maybe 90 minutes and you've unlocked everything. But I really can't say I hate it. Maybe it's a nostalgia of me owning this game along with Sonic 3D for the Saturn without a memory cartridge years back, forcing me to essentially replay the entire game every time I turn the system on. Not to mention, this game was kind of a technical spectacle for Sega. The Saturn wasn't capable of the graphical capabilities the PlayStation could do, but Traveler's Tales certainly pulled them off. This game is a guilty pleasure, and yes, I also like the soundtrack. Wow, what a 180! Sonic Heroes was a colourful return to form in 3D with a very unique teamwork gimmick. While I still prefer Sonic Adventure 1 over Heroes, I still think it's a good game. But then came Shadow the Hedgehog. "Give Sonic a gun!" the fans cried. And they did, but to his edgy counterpart. Giving the starring role to someone other than Sonic had not been seen since Tails' Adventure back in '95, and Shadow the Hedgehog was weird. Alien invasion, vague backstories, multiple endings, guns, vehicles, and an homage to Independence Day. What is this game? I'll tell you what, a laughable oddity that not only badly explains Shadow's history, but is so out of place in the series that you can't help but chuckle at its existence. Sonic and the Black Knight was a great step up from Sonic and the Secret Rings in terms of control, story, and soundtrack. But that's about it. The motion controls still hurt the game, as well as the restrictive nature of its on-rails level design. Because Sega decided to give Sonic a sword in the world of King Arthur, the game's design had to be focused on its combat, but like with the movement in Secret Rings, it barely works as intended. But as I stated, the story and soundtrack are some of the best in the series. Bottom line, would have been better if the gameplay didn't suck. Ready for this? I don't think you are. The best worst Sonic game is, you can just watch something else, right? I know you're not going to like this. You sure? Okay. It's Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Let me preference this by saying that I really do not like Sonic 06. I hate the use of time travel in the story, the forced inclusion of Blaze the Cat, its useless gimmicks, the glitches, the low times, the uncuttable relationship between Sonic and Elise. But I think I get why fans still play and talk about this. It is a freaking unicorn of a game. One that needs to be shot and put out of its misery, but a unicorn nonetheless. Yes, it hurt the franchise. It severely fractured the fanbase and put the franchise as the butt of every gaming critic and journalist's joke when writing about Sonic. But it's a game you can't not play. While there is some good to be had, such as its overly praised soundtrack, Sonic's gameplay and Shadow's story, the only good part of the game's narrative, everyone's experience with the game is unique. Some will sigh, some will laugh, most will throw their controllers at a wall. But Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 should not only be criticised, but celebrated for getting Sonic back on the right track, for better or worse.